Welcome to Srilata Organic Farming. In this session, let us see ecological engineering by habitat manipulation. How to manipulate the habitat. Habitat manipulation in the sense means in a crop, in agriculture ecosystem, you will find both harmful insects which causes damage to the crops and also useful insects, the beneficial insects, which helps in protecting the crop by controlling the harmful insects. So, in the habitat manipulation approach, what we have to do, improve crop habitats for natural enemies. That means you provide, simply in the simple terms, you provide food and shelter to the beneficial insects. You provide in your agricultural ecosystem food and shelter to your beneficial insects. They take shelter there in your agriculture ecosystem and consume the pest in the agriculture ecosystem and controls the pest. Then you may ask me a question. You are telling you provide shelter and food to the natural enemies. And a contradictory sentence I am giving that when you provide shelter, they will consume or take the crop pests as the food. Both the sentences are true because you know insects are having different life stages like egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Especially in the beneficial insects, one category of insects that are those are parasitoids. They're also having four stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult stage. But egg stage is non-feeding stage, it won't take any food. Pupal stage also non-feeding stage, it won't take any food. But if you see the other two stages, larval and adult stages, are feeding stages. Their food habits are different in case of parasitoids. The larvae feed on the crop pests and the adults feed on the nectar. In my opinion, providing food and shelter means provide shelter to the adult insects, which take shelter on the flowering plants, which takes nectar as their food, but for the egg laying, they use the crop pests and control the crop pests. That is the habitat manipulation. In simple terms, without any complexities, simple word is if you want natural enemies, beneficial insects in your field, you encourage polycultures, or what you can do, you plant some flowering plants which can flower throughout the year. You may be saying that flowering plants cannot flower throughout the year, they have seasons. You follow the pattern, different flowering plants you plant in your field so that throughout the year flowers are available. That is a simple way of expression of improving crop habitats for natural enemies. Providing supplementary resources. Supplementary resources means vegetation surrounding fields to meet the need of natural enemies. Two things we have to consider here. The vegetation which favors the pest, that means which acts as alternate host to the pest, is to be removed and controlled. Weeds are to be removed and controlled. Alternate hosts are to be removed and controlled. But the vegetation which encourages the natural enemies, which provides flowers and nectar to the natural enemies, that vegetation is to be are to be maintained. The vegetation which gives advantage to the pest by acting as alternate host to the pest, that vegetation is to be removed immediately. Creating corridors for natural enemies. The corridors for natural, like beetle banks and all, are very important to conserve the natural enemies. Selecting the right flowers. Selecting non-crop flower plants is the best option. That also not the imported flowers or big flowers, very small flowers like compositive flowers and all. Because the natural enemies mouth parts are adopted to take nectar from the small native flowers. So that's why selecting native flowers and selecting small flowers is very, very important. you can see ecological engineering, the pest control is mainly based on the natural enemies. The flowers which gives beneficial effect to the natural enemies are to be planted. The floral structure should be small flower, shallow flowers, and with the extra floral nectaries is added advantage. Greater nectar and pollen production is another advantageous feature. Plant diversity, when it comes to the plant diversity, multi cropping, strip cropping, those are crop wise suggestions. Polyculture, layered planting. When it comes to the various type of plants to interfere with pest and natural enemy interactions are attractant plants, the plants that attract the natural enemies. Repellent plants, the plant that repel the pests. Trap plants that attract and trap the crop pests where they will be destroyed on the trap plant itself. Barrier or guard plants prevent the entry of the pests. You can see the small flowering plants which attracts the natural enemies. You may be seeing many of the examples may be appearing like foreign examples, not the native species of the India. But we need not follow this pattern which is exotic in nature. We must follow the pattern of native plants which are very much adopted to that area and flowers throughout the year, maybe different plants which gives flowers throughout the year with very small flowers which can allow to take nectar from the flowers by the natural enemies. So these like very common plants like marigold, chrysanthemum, such flowers can be taken. You can see the attractant plants which attracts the natural enemies. Right side, what the photos which you are seeing are the natural enemies or friendly insects or beneficial insects or farmers friends. So these are the plants. Amaranthus, very much native plant in the India. It attracts so many ground beetles, carabid beetles, syrphid flies. So all these are the beneficial insects. Coming to the maize and maize, maize is having a good amount of pollen during the flowering time. So the minute pirate bugs, lace wings and all will get attracted to the maize for the food. Coriander is very good attractant plants which attracts syrphid flies. Cowpea, very important attractant plant to the natural enemies. Aphid midges, Cotacea, mite destroyers. All these natural enemies will be attracted to the cowpea plants. Carrot family also very good attractant plant. The mite destroyer, Stithora species, syrphid flies, minute pirate bugs and all will, even lace wings and all will get attracted to the carrot flowers. Marigold, the best adaptable native flowering plant which attracts syrphid flies and other natural enemies including the spiders. Mustard, so with its very good flowering character, attracts so many natural enemies and provides food and shelter to the natural enemies like aphid midge, aphidius, Cotacea, mite destroyers, Campbellitis and all. Peppermint, that also very good attractant plant. Ryegrass attracts row beetles. If you see the right side, that is the row beetle. These are friendly insects actually, row beetles. Many people, they think that these are the crop pests, but not, those are the beneficial insects. The next category of ecological engineering plants are repellent plants. Here, Attractant plants means which attracts the natural enemies or friendly insects. Repellent plants means which repels the crop pests. Ocimum is very good repellent plant for the helicoverpa, cutworms and spodoptera. It repels the lepidopteran insects mostly because of its strong odor. Tobacco plants, actually in tobacco plants, if any problem like nematode or anything is appearing, marigold is suggested to repel the nematode. In cabbage plants, onion is recommended to repel beetles, spider mites. The strong odor of onion repels the beetles and spider mites. Peppermint repels whiteflies. The same plant may act as attractant to the natural enemies and repellent to the some of the pests. Trap plants. Trap plants are to be used very cautiously because they attract the pests which are in the air or surrounding areas. But as soon as the trap plants are infested with the pest, immediately the pest is to be controlled on the trap crop itself. Otherwise, it will move to the main crop. You can see various types of trap plants like potato beetles loves the eggplant. Flea beetles loves radish. Helicoverpa adults lays eggs on the marigold. Marigold is a trap crop for the Helicoverpa adults. Spodoptera larvae feeds more on the castor. Even Spodoptera adult lays eggs on the castor leaves. Aphids and thrips are attracted to the cowpea. Whitefly is attracted to the okra, especially in cotton okra is used as a trap crop to the whitefly. Some companion plants are also claimed to pull pests away from the main crop. What are the companion plants? How the companion planting works? How they benefit the main crop? All the things we will see in separate session uh, to know about the companion plants. So castor plants are the trap plants for the Spodoptera lichura. Actually, larva also prefers to feed on the leaves of the castor plants compared to the other plants. And even the moth also prefers to lay eggs on the leaves of the castor plants, on underside of the leaves of the castor plants. So, cowpea, it is trap for the thrips and aphids. Marigold, it is trap for the helicoverpa, egg laying. Helicoverpa is trapped by the marigold in various crops, not in a single crop. Mustard is trap crop for many of the pests of the coal crops like diamondback moth, head borer, painted bug and all. That's why always it is suggested when cabbage or cauliflower or any other high value coal crops are grown, mustard as the trap crop for this pest, and the pest is to be destroyed on the trap crop itself. Otherwise it will move to the main crop. Okra, bendi is a trap crop for the white flies, especially in cotton and high value crops. Barrier plants are god plants. Surrounding the field, the barrier plants are to be planted like maize, jowar, millets, tall growing millets. So they act as barriers to the pests like whiteflies, mealybug, aphids and thrips. They prevent the movement of these pests, soft-bodied sucking pests, from neighboring field to the main field. So with this, we have seen the biodiversity of the crops in ecological engineering. Next session, let us see how the ecological engineering is prospering in various countries. Thank you. Signing off, Srilata.